What's going on, guys? So it's like the second or third time here that I've done this. So I want to make sure that I set this up correctly. I do realize this is a little bit of an impromptu live, but I had an hour here before my next call. So I wanted to hop in and share something. I'm going to share my screen. Cool. Looks like you guys can see this. Awesome. So I won't be able to see comments. If you guys have questions, just tag me in the comments after I'm done with the live and I'll be sure to get to them, but I won't be able to do Q&A on this because I'm sharing my screen. But what I wanted to share with you here is just an example, and this isn't set in stone or 100% the curriculum when we work with somebody, but when we bring in a client, we kind of break it into three categories. It's individuals that have a great amount of weight to lose. It's individuals that maybe have 10 to 20 to 30 pounds to lose. And then we work with another third of people that really don't have any weight to lose. It might be 5 pounds, or it's basically a body recomposition or even building lean muscle, right? So what I wanted to do here is I created just somewhat like of an example, but based in reality of what we do for clients in the different stages and what leads to wins and results. Okay. So with this first one, as I go through this, just to give you some ideas. So this would be somebody that has, the first category is somebody that has a great amount of weight to lose. And I say this with love, but for someone that allows themselves to get 30, 40, 50, 60 pounds plus overweight, there's usually some really sabotaging habits, behaviors at play, right? To get that overweight, there's something not good that we have to correct. The great news for people that have a lot of weight to lose, and when we bring in a client that has 30, 40, 50 pounds to lose, is we can get some of those easy wins relatively quickly, which progress is motivation. By just changing a few things in that person's lifestyle to get them to become more conscious of a few behaviors and habits, they can drop 10, 20, 30 pounds relatively quickly compared to somebody who maybe only has 15 pounds to lose, which I'll get into here in a second. But with that being said, like if we bring in somebody who has a great amount of weight to lose, a couple things that we might implement right away. And again, I just want to disclaimer this by saying this isn't set in stone. That's why we do tailored one-to-one coaching. Every client that we bring in or speak with, they all have their own lifestyle, their own circumstances, injuries, hormonal things. So there's different variables at play, but I'm just kind of giving you a rough idea of how to think about this, where you're at and what you might want to focus in on. Okay. So if somebody has a lot of weight to lose, the first thing that we'll probably do, we'll do one of two things, but oftentimes is just to get them to track their nutrition. That's it. We're not going to set any guidelines. We're not going to set any parameters and say, hey, you need this many calories, you need this many carbs, you need this many protein. We're not going to overwhelm somebody. All we're going to do is to get them conscious of their eating. And how do you best do that? Typically, it's by having someone track their nutrition with some type of method. Okay. Because the benefit of that is a couple things. When you actually track your food intake, that automatically forces you to become more conscious in what you're doing, number one. Secondly, that's how you really learn about food, because often people that maybe have this much weight to lose, there's a big education gap in what's healthy, what's not, what's good, what's bad, right? So just by tracking, you realize, oh my gosh, I can eat as much lettuce or vegetables as I want realistically, but my goodness, in 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, there's 300 calories. So people will start to draw those connections and understanding of nutrition when they just simply track. Or it might be somebody cannot make their own food decisions. So if somebody has a lot of weight to lose, we might put them on a little bit more of a rigid nutrition plan right away, and then build up into tracking or give them freedom of choice. Second thing is and I just put 10,000 steps in here. We do set that as a goal, but oftentimes what I mean by this is just getting somebody more active in their everyday life. People tend to be very sedentary. Oftentimes when people have a lot of weight to lose, sorry, tongue twister, a lot of weight to lose, they typically live pretty sedentary lives. So we just try to get them to walk as much as possible, whether that's outside or with their dog or kids or whatever, get them involved in activities where they're getting their steps in. That's something that we really focus in on as well. And then another part of this example is we might have them just do, 3 really light 10, 15, 20-minute workouts per week as well. Because again, a lot of people will watch us and be like, well, I'm 60 pounds overweight and I work out 5 times a week. Okay, cool. But like, I'm just talking about the majority here, not the minority. Oftentimes when people are significantly heavy, they probably haven't worked out, or at least worked out consistently in quite some time. So we're just building that habit and routine. We're starting very, very easy. We're starting with the basics and just building that routine of getting in 3 very simple light workouts per week as well. And here's the cool thing is if you just have someone who becomes more conscious of their nutrition, you get their steps up, they start working out 3 times a week, boom. I mean, they have a huge margin of error just by making those very simple lifestyle changes. The weight will come off relatively quickly in those first couple months. Okay. So that's just an example of what you should be focusing on if you probably have, 40, 50, 60 pounds to lose. The second category here, and I want to spend a little bit more time on this one because this is what I see so often. I would say 50, 60% of our clients that we work with fall in this middle bucket with like 10, 15, maybe 20, 30 pounds to lose. So many people get stuck in this place and they spend months and years and even decades not able to lose that last 20, 30 pounds. And what often happens is they maybe started here, right? And they got some of these easy wins by just making those simple lifestyle adjustments, but then they hit a wall where just doing these simple things no longer works, right? Or what happens is somebody goes from not overweight and they hit a certain age or their lifestyle changes significantly and boom, they put on 15 or 30 pounds. So I find often it's either people that have a bunch of weight to lose, that they lost a little bit of weight, then they get stuck here, or people that maybe were in great shape in the past, life happened and they gain 15, 20 pounds and they put them in this category as well. Those are kind of the 2 scenarios that I see. But for the people that had a lot of weight to lose and then they have 30 pounds left and they're just stuck and they're banging their head against a wall, it takes a level of reconditioning because what worked in the past, just doing the simple things as far as, being more conscious in your eating, getting your activity up, working out consistently, isn't going to be the leverage point that takes them to the promised land. Things need to be a little bit more dialed in just because there's less margin of error. When somebody has a bunch of weight to lose, the way that I describe it is like driving on a 8-10 lane highway. You have a lot of options. You have big guardrails in place where if you just stay within them, good things will happen. As you get closer and you have less weight to lose, instead of going from an 8-lane highway, you're going to a 4, less you can get away with. So things need to be a little bit more dialed in. Okay. The other thing too, like with the people that briefly here with people that are gaining weight and then fall into this category is life changes. Your body changes, your lifestyle changes. You probably aren't as active as you were when you were 21 or don't have the time to work out as consistently. But oftentimes too, it's just you did stuff a certain way for 10, 15, 20 years, and boom, all of a sudden in your life, it doesn't feel like you can get away with it anymore. And then you start gaining weight. So oftentimes I hear, oh my gosh, Bo, I never had to worry about weight. And then I hit, 30 or I hit 35 or I had kids. And then what I had done for 15, 20 years no longer works. And you just need to dial things in. You can't get away with what you had done for years beforehand. Okay. So when somebody is in this range, this builds upon each other. So we're still focused on these things, but then where not only nutrition and being in a deficit, but also what are they eating as well. So we're going to pay more attention here to calories and also protein as well. This is where we want someone to start some resistance type training, weightlifting. Why? It's obviously just good for you. But secondly, the more muscle that you build, your body becomes a hotter furnace, if you will, to use simple terms. The more weight that you carry, or excuse me, the more lean muscle that you carry, you burn more calories just by being alive. So we really want to make sure that people here have a tailored resistance training plan in place and are really focused on building lean muscle. Oftentimes we'll implement a cardio regimen for these people as well. Right here, it's typically just light walking. Here it might be more, with purpose, right? Stairmaster, treadmill at a specific incline, miles per hour. We're going to put them on a protocol as far as their cardio goes a few times a week. And here we're starting to pay a little bit more attention to, sleep optimization and stress management, because that can make a huge difference and is somewhat an X factor at this stage. Obviously, sleep and stress is important here, but you could be sleeping like crap and be stressed to the gills. And if you just make some simple lifestyle changes, the weight will come off. But like I said, once you get closer to your goal, these things become more important, where, hey, you could be doing everything right, but if your sleep sucks and you're stressed to the max, your body's going to become stubborn as far as giving up that last 15 to 30 pounds, if you will. So many people get stuck here, and this is like where a lot of people live for months and years until they finally decide to change something, work with someone like us and get coaching. But this is the group that I see a lot of people spend a lot of time in, a lot of time stressed, frustrated, depressed, because they can't get through this. Okay, the final thing is, and we work with, I guess, let me first talk about the mindset with people here. Oftentimes, if people have 0 to 10 to 15 pounds to lose, or they're looking to do a recomp, typically 80-90% of the time, they've been in great shape before. They were a former athlete. They've been in great shape for years or even decades, but then just, life happened a little bit. They put on a few pounds. There's that, or it's just a lot of people that we work with don't want to settle for being average. Like, other moms be like, oh, so-and-so, you look great for your age. They don't want to hear that. Like, they set a bar higher for themselves than anybody else in their life sets upon them. And they're really looking to take things to the next level as far as their health and fitness and their physique goes. We do work with probably 20% of the clients that we bring in are in this category where they're like, hey, I'm okay where I'm at. I'm not. And the thing is too, is I always say this, like, absolutely hating your body and hating yourself isn't a catalyst to make an incredible transformation. It's all relative. There's been people that are 100 pounds overweight that, sadly to say, it's a life or death situation, but they could care less. And then you have somebody who's gained 10 pounds in the last couple of years and they're ready to jump off a bridge type of thing. It's all relative. But these people just don't settle for average. They want to be their best. And like I said, 20% of our clients or so are in this camp. When somebody's looking to take things to the next level, this is where a lot of factors need to be dialed in. Here's where we're going to pay close attention to calories and protein. Like, that has to be dialed in. You have to make sure you're fueling your body. Oftentimes here, we're not even in a deficit anymore. We're making sure we're eating the right things, making sure we're fueling our body enough to stimulate, building lean muscle, having the best training sessions as possible, optimizing energy levels. So we're really focused in on the nutrition and making some of these small adjustments that do matter when you're at this stage of the game. These things don't need to worry about or care about when you have a lot of weight to lose. I'm sorry to say that, but it's just not going to matter. These things are going to matter much more than that. So like, when someone's in this, like I said, we're dialing their nutrition, we're adjusting, manipulating, carbohydrates potentially, not always. Again, I don't want to say like everybody, we just jam them in these three categories. Everybody's unique, everybody's different. That's why getting a tailored, coaching program where we're focused on nutrition, training, habits, behaviors, mindset, lifestyle optimization, like sleep and stress, is so important. But oftentimes, again, just to paint everything with a broad brush, we might manipulate carbs around intense training sessions, or maybe somebody really, wants to build their butt and their lower half. We might go higher carbs on the evening or the day before they have a lower body or, butt building training session, right? So they can have more energy for those workouts, fuel their body enough so they can optimize those training sessions as much as possible. That's what I mean by adjusting and manipulating carbs. Oftentimes here we're focused in on timing of meals as well, because we're trying to optimize energy as much as we possibly can. What I mean by this is ultimately you want to be consistent when you feel your body eating around the same times a day, making sure you're having roughly the same amount of meals every day. Your body becomes very used to what you're doing, and you'll find that your energy is best when you eat, a certain number of meals per day. You get consistent with that. You eat around the same times of day, if at all possible. Is it 100% of the time possible? No, we live in this thing called reality, but trying your best, like as far as timing of meals, pre-workout nutrition, post-workout nutrition become very important at this stage of the game as well. So that's what I mean by timing of meals. Here, we're just trying to optimize their resistance training. Maybe go from 3 to 4 to 5 sessions per week if we can, to just push the envelope, push the intensity further, and really focusing on progressive overload, which I'm not going to go into. I've talked about that, before. This too, we're going to optimize, gut health and digestion, making sure they're having good bowel movements and they're not chronically bloated, because a lot of times people think they have, 10 or 15 pounds to lose, and they're like, oh, my midsection is stubborn. That could be the case. It also might be that they're chronically bloated as well, and they need to break down. And to not be long-winded on this, what I mean by optimizing gut health is to really do not an elimination diet, but really looking at their nutrition and how it's correlated to their gut health and digestion. I think I've talked about this before, but if a client is at this stage and they're dealing with a little bit of bloating, they maybe have 5 or 10 pounds to lose. It's amazing that when you can get their gut health and bloating out of 10 and really, improve that, they don't even really have any weight to lose. It was just kind of in their head that they had, 5 pounds to lose type of thing. So what we'll do is look at someone's nutrition day to day, week to week, and start saying, hey, like, it seems like when you have these things at this time, your bloating is really bad. I noticed when you have these on certain days, it doesn't seem to be that bad. Let's make this adjustment. And through trial and error, we're going to optimize their gut health and working with them over a period of time. Last but not least, here's in the stage of the game where supplementation can make a difference. Because at this stage, you're like 5% away from your goal. So like I always say, supplements are 5% or even less in the grand scheme of things. Supplements here don't really matter all that much. It has a very little impact as far as your results go. But when you get here and you're trying to take things to a whole nother level, this is when supplementation and getting supplements in your body that make sense to fill in the gaps you're not getting from food alone can really help you take things to that elite next level as far as your health and fitness and as far as your physique goes. So this is where we'll start having conversations with clients about, hey, maybe, it looks like you're lacking in vitamin D. Vitamin D is so important for your energy and just mood and immunity, right? So we might offer a vitamin D sub for that. Vitamin C, zinc, magnesium, things like that. We're having conversations around to really take things to the next level, because at this stage of the game, it becomes important. At this stage of the game, talking about supplementation optimization when someone has 100 pounds to lose is a complete waste of time, and it's not in their best interest, no matter how badly that they want to talk about it oftentimes. Okay. So I know this was a little bit long-winded. And again, I want to disclaimer this again, that you might be looking at this and be like, whoa, like everybody's different. Like everybody's unique. This is just giving you kind of a rough idea so you can maybe take 1 or 2 things that I cover away from this and be like, oh yeah, like I'm here. Here's what Bo says I should somewhat be focused in on or taking a look at. That's what you wanna do. Okay. So that being said, hopefully this was helpful. Like everything that I do in kind of these in-depth videos, you're not going to remember anything. If you want to take notes on the entire call, great. But I just want you to be able to step away from these longer in-depth training videos with maybe 1 or 2 golden nuggets or aha moments that you can take so you win in your health and fitness. Cool. I'll see you guys on the next one. If it's not this week, which it probably won't be. My parents just got here. I'm gonna work tomorrow and then unplug for Thanksgiving. So I'm sure I'll see you guys sometime next week here in the group. Have an awesome rest of your week. Have a great Thanksgiving. Hopefully you can find things in your life that you can be grateful for, and you get the opportunity to spend some time with those that you love and care about most in your life. And we'll see you guys probably sometime next week. We'll see you. Peace.